Hi guys, Ian Johnson from driversuccess.com. Today I thought I'd kind of discuss small business sales forecasting. Now, I'm just going to provide you with a couple of tips that you can use in order to make your sales forecast a little bit more accurate. Now, a lot of the companies that I work with, when I work with manufacturers, a lot of them have ERP systems and MRP systems, but some of my customers don't have that luxury of having an ERP system or an MRP system, and they do a lot of things by Excel. And in fact, what I'm going to show you today is actually available on my blog at driversuccess.com. There are plenty of sample Excel spreadsheets that you can download where this rule that I'm going to show you, or this basic principle, is available for you to download. And it's pretty straightforward. The only problem that some of my customers have had is when they ask their salespeople for an estimate of what they think they're going to sell, they basically are asking their salespeople to give them one number. So they basically will say to them, how much do you think you can sell? And the salesperson does a quick calculation in his head, not scientific by any means. Maybe they might rely upon some historical data, but for the most part, they make the number up. So this is a bit of a different take on it, okay? What we're going to do today is we're going to rely upon a method called Pert. It's called Project Evaluation and Review Technique. It's not the shampoo, it's something that is used as the fundamentals for Gantt charts. So project evaluation review technique, the United States Navy came up with it back years ago when they did the design of the Polaris submarine. Project evaluation review technique is used by product managers, project managers, all kinds of guys that do installations and want to measure transit times and delivery times from multiple points and different vendors. It's all about identifying critical and non-critical paths to project completion. So it is a project management tool, and it's the fundamentals of Gantt charts, but we're going to use it today for our analysis on how to improve small business sales forecasting. So there's basically three portions to the calculation. There's what's called the best case scenario, okay? The best case scenario equals A, and I'll show you the calculation after. The most likely case scenario equals B, and the worst case scenario equals C, okay? Now, when a salesperson is about to do their sales forecasting, with this tool, with Pert, what they're going to do is they're going to ask themselves, what's the best case scenario in terms of my sales for next week or next month? What's my most likely scenario? What am I most likely going to sell? And what's my worst case scenario? What am I, not going to sell at all? So let's just say for this situation that this individual thinks his best case scenario for next month's sale is he thinks the most he can sell is 10. Okay? He thinks it's most likely that he's going to sell, let's say, 6. And he says the worst case scenario, if I don't do either one of those two, I'm going to do 4. Okay? So instead of him doing this calculation in his head, we're going to come up with something a little bit more scientific, not 100% foolproof, but it works. Now the Pert calculation is fairly straightforward. Okay? Pert says you take 1 times A, which is 10, plus 4 times B, which is 6, plus 1 times C, which is 4, and you divide this by 6. Okay? So I'll just change up the numbers here. So 1 times A, 4 times B, and 1 times C. Now do the inside of the calculation first. 1 times 10 is 10, 4 times 6 is 24, 1 times 4 is 4. So 24 plus 4 is 28, plus 10 is 38. So right away, this calculation looks like this, is equal to 38, and you divide that by 6 on the outside, and you get something that looks like 6.5 or something like 6.3 units. In any case, it's probably going to be 6. Now, is this foolproof? Does this guarantee that your sales forecasts are going to be a lot more accurate? No, it won't. But it's going to help. And what it allows companies to do is it basically forces their salespeople to put numbers down. They can basically track their variances historical and account for seasonality in terms of busier and slower times of the year. But instead of the salesperson just randomly coming up with any number and not knowing whether it's based on history or not, what Pert likes to do is basically kind of, you know, apply some kind of a more statistical approach to coming up with this number here in terms of the units that they can produce. Now, Pert becomes more accurate the more sample portions you have. So when you first get started, you're probably gonna be all over the place. But as you use Pert and as you use this simple little process to ask your salespeople, how much do you think you're going to sell? You know, what's the best case scenario in terms of sales? What's the most likely scenario? What's the worst scenario? These numbers are going to become more accurate. And as these numbers become more accurate, this calculation will become more accurate. Now again, this entire simple little calculation is available on an Excel spreadsheet that I've got on my website at driveyoursuccess.com. Go on, you can do this for OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, VARs, value-added resellers, distributors. So go on, take a look, and you know, let me know what you think. Ian Johnson, take care.